When a group of teenagers went out for a day of skurfing in shark territory, it quickly turned into disaster. It led to one of the most brutal and gruesome shark attacks in history that left the survivors traumatized by what they saw. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. This is the terrifying great white shark attack of Nick Peterson. Welcome to Final Affliction. Great whites are truly terrifying creatures and are considered by many to be the undisputed apex predators of the open waters. Naturally, they're regarded as some of the best hunters in the animal kingdom, thanks in large to their ability to detect blood up to 5 kilometers away. Their torpedo-shaped body also give them the speed and power they need to swim up to 57 kilometers an hour, which they use to quickly ambush and take down unsuspecting prey with surprising force. Adult great white sharks have a lifespan of 30 years, a maximum length of around 20 feet, and can weigh up to 6,600 pounds on average. The largest recorded great white is thought to be 7 meters or 23 feet long and weighing 2.5 tons. Great whites also sport razor-sharp teeth that can grow more than 6.5 inches long. They are known to be opportunistic predators, which means they take advantage of whatever opportunity for food comes their way. Their diet consists of anything from the ocean's surface all the way down to the sea floor. And as a great white grows in size, so does the range and type of prey they go after. Smaller great whites will typically eat fish, rays, and crustaceans, but when they get larger, their diet also starts to include creatures like seals, sea lions, dolphins, seabirds, and sometimes humans. Nick Peterson, age 18, was with 3 friends 300 meters from the shore at West Beach, South Australia. The sky was clear and cloudless, a perfect day for skurfing. Skurfing is a water sport that combines the best of both worlds, the excitement of skiing with the freedom of surfing. It was a scorching day and the ocean was full of people trying to cool off. Nick and his friends, Ty Wheeler, Adam Florani, and Andrew Tomlin, all teenagers from Adelaide's western suburbs, had been swimming for half an hour and taking turns on the surfboards. As they were enjoying themselves, little did they know that a full-grown great white, almost 6 meters long with a viciousness to match its size, was stalking the group from afar, likely studying them, trying to find the easiest target and potentially waiting for an opportunity to strike. Large white sharks were a common sight in the area where Nick and his friends were enjoying their hobby. Almost 3 weeks prior to the incident, 2 men in a boat were nudged by a 5-meter white shark as they fished 10 kilometers off the shore of St. Kilda, north of Adelaide. The next day, a shark of the same size terrorized fishermen off North Haven before making swimmers scramble for safety. In addition, on December 2nd, a shark was seen far out in Gulf St. Vincent. Gary Biddle from the Grange Surf Life Savings Club said he saw a white shark swim under his boat while offshore at Grange the previous weekend. In the hours leading up to this tragedy, Lenka Merzlkova, a tourist from the Czech Republic, unknowingly witnessed something truly terrifying. It was the sight of an enormous black dorsal fin 30 meters away from the shore. She caught a glimpse of it while looking out at sea. At first glance, she thought it might be a dolphin and decided to do little more than take a picture. As one of his friends was getting back onto their boat, Nick gleefully jumped into the water. That was when disaster struck. As soon as Nick's body touched the water, he was caught off guard by a gaping mouth lined with razor-sharp teeth, lunging at him with unfathomable force after emerging from underneath the waters. The array of sharp teeth sank deep beneath Nick's flesh, grabbing him by the left shoulder and viciously shaking him around in an attempt to tear off large chunks of his body. Nick was writhing in pain, and his friends made the hopeless effort of trying to rescue him by hitting the shark with their paddles, but it was was too late. The vicious shark would circle around and then submerge with Nick still in its jaws numerous times before submerging one final time. Nick was gone for a second at this point, but before his friend could even process what had just happened, Nick resurfaced, and as soon as his friends shifted their gaze towards him, they were all mortified beyond words by what they saw. It was Nick, now floating face down, motionlessly, and with his lower half completely gone. Nick's body drifted amidst an unholy pool of blood, tissue, and half-torn organs. Immediately after the attack, Nick's friends raced south to the Adelaide Shores boat ramp. Minutes later, one of the teenagers ran up the beach in tears, shouting to swimmers to get out of the water. Later on, it was rumored that another, smaller 14.5-foot great white was briefly glimpsed feeding on Nick's remains. This took place while hundreds of people were present at the shoreline, and after a meticulous beach and sea search, the only found remnants of Nick Peterson were 2 small pieces of one of his lungs. Out of all tissues in the human body, researchers have found that samples belonging to one's lungs are the only ones that may escape being consumed during fatal shark attacks. This is because pulmonary tissue is full of air, making it buoyant and causing it to rise quickly to the surface. If someone dies from the attack itself rather than by drowning, this phenomenon enables rescuers to determine what exactly transpired in cases where no witnesses are present. One of Nick's friends, Ty Wheeler, remembers that fateful day perfectly. "I was watching Andrew in the water while Nick was diving and we saw dolphins," he said. "We turned the boat around and it was just so magical, so we decided to drive closer to them." It's theorized that one of the so-called dolphins they saw was in fact Nick's would-be assailant. In what must have been a difficult and traumatizing retelling of the horrible events which had transpired, Ty recalls that the shark struck so quickly that the teens barely had time to react. Nick's body was literally torn in half within seconds, and then a second smaller shark moved in to feed on the remains. Over time, the water near the beach became red with blood and filled with unrecognizable body parts, some of which even washed ashore in what must have been quite a disturbing sight for anyone present. The only thing that was found during the later search were some pieces of Nick's lung. South Australian Sea Rescue Squadron spokesman Fraser Bell stated, "The shark tore him apart. Apparently, it tore him in half and the other shark came in and took the rest." When asked if there was any chance Nick may have survived, Bell's shocking reply was simply, "None whatsoever." The police shut down several beaches in the area soon after the attack was reported. They began searching by air and sea at 3:30 p.m., sending patrols along the beach to warn people about what had just happened. As previously stated, it was thought that 2 white sharks had carried out the attack together. These sharks were reported to be approximately 4.5 meters and 5 meters long, respectively. However, further investigation showed that only a single 5 to 6 meter shark was involved in the attack. Local experts said it was likely the same shark that had been seen near Adelaide beaches in previous weeks. Although great white sharks are a protected species in Australia, officials still held a meeting on December 18 and decided that the specific shark responsible must be found and killed. On that very same day, Nick's parents, Philip and Leon Peterson, were interviewed at West Beach. "We don't advocate for the indiscriminate killing of any shark. They are to be admired, appreciated, and respected, and Nick knew that," said Philip Peterson. Unsurprisingly, 2 of Nick's friends had to undergo therapy due to the devastating trauma they went through, a trauma that may never fully heal or depart from their memories. Nevertheless, the tragic story of Nick Peterson is a reminder that sharks are a part of this natural environment. It's important to respect their natural instincts to seek food and not disturb them. Always remember that even though shark attacks are rare, nothing in this world is certain. Both tragedy and fortune are likely outcomes when spinning the wheel of fate. and no one should ever feel too comfortable in shark territory, especially if they are not familiar with the area. It's crucial to always be aware of your surroundings and take caution when swimming in an area where these majestic animals are known to roam, because if you don't, you may find yourself little more than a formless mass of flesh and bone, drifting atop the crimson red waters with your last thoughts being of your final affliction.